You know what? If it truly is her body, her choice, then I'm starting to see why there is a push for women to have more control over what they can do with themselves and not let the government or laws prevent them from essentially participating in the oldest profession in the world. Now, let me ask you a question just right out the gate. If a woman tells you that you have to like send her money before you're even allowed to sit across from her at a table, what exactly are you paying for as a man? Because I keep hearing this thing called dating, but I also keep hearing this thing called empowerment. But when money is required up front to gain access, most people already have a word for that. And here's the part that nobody wants to say out loud. I've lived in other countries. In other countries, they are just honest about it. This is the oldest profession in human civilization. Other countries have accepted it and they're just honest about it. They regulate it, they label it, and they don't pretend that it's romance. I mean, literally, women have to literally go and sign up and apply, get approved. So they're consenting, their IDs are checked, they're adults, etc. It's regulated in other countries. But here in the United States, they just keep rebranding it. And it's the same way of doing a transaction and acting shocked when people notice that this is transactional, which I don't understand. Why are we pretending that this is not what American women not just have wanted to do now, but they've been wanting to do? Now, this is not about shaming women. This is not about attacking single mothers. This is about honesty. It's her body, her choice, which I understand. But at one point, do we stop pretending that dating and start that? When do we stop pretending that it is dating and just start calling it what it actually is and behaving as such? Because when the first time you're meeting, a payment is required, that relationship is already letting you know what it is. It's transactional. It's not even a relationship. And I mean, you can agree with me, that's good, but I want to hear why, because right now it's just not making sense to me. But let's take a listen.
After I said I would require a deposit to take me on a date to cover my date preparation costs, I'm now working with an app developer to make this a reality. This is actually happening. We are building the app. I'm not even exaggerating when I tell you this is the best damn dating app you have ever seen, because there is a clear difference here where the woman can set the deposit rate and the man can pay for her date preparation costs. So as a woman, you're going to walk into the date already so happy, and that's going to lead to a better date and a better connection. And that gives the man a better chance of succeeding in courting you. Yeah.
Well, let's take a look at this from a male perspective. There's only one way you know if you succeeded. Once money gets involved for a man, that means that you don't really have to play all the games anymore. You've already paid up front. This is going to be a misunderstanding, because if you're paying for something up front, and then at the end of the night, you don't get what you paid for, well, now you're going to feel like you got robbed and ripped off. And that's going to be a problem. Also, she's not reinventing the wheel. These apps already exist. There's Seeking Arrangements, there's Facebook Dating, there's Arrows, there's all different types of websites you can go to, and you can pay a woman her preparation costs, and that's her fee for, the next few hours or whatever. It's the same thing. You're essentially paying for her time. And then the way they'll say it is, well, the sex part is free, but my time is what you're paying for. Which, if that's how we have to disguise it here in the United States for it to make sense for people, then that's fine. But instead of making it so that that this woman is really committing a crime, or if a guy is sending her money, that's a crime. Because here in the United States, people don't know the laws. That's why Diddy is in jail, sending money to his girlfriends. The court said, well, yeah, you're calling them your girlfriend. We're calling them prostitutes. And he's like, I've been with these girls for years. And the court was like, well, we don't care. If you intended on having sex with these women ever, and you send her money, it's so that you can earn her sexual favor. So essentially, it's prostitution. If somebody is paying a woman who's pretty, who he wants to go out with, if you're sending her money up front because you want to have sex with her eventually, that is still prostitution and that is illegal the way the law is interpreted in the United States right now. To be honest, I think it's going to be up to women. It's going to be up to women to fight and make legislation to get prostitution decriminalized so that they can legally monetize their beauty the way they want to. Some women monetize their beauty virtually. They'll have an OnlyFans, they'll do webcam or whatever. But there are a lot of women who are looking for that physical connection. They don't want to just be on the internet. They're looking to meet men, not one man. They want to meet lots of men. Should we shame them for that? I don't think so. I think women should be able to do what makes them happy. However, if the legal system's calling you a prostitute, then men are going to call you that. And as of today in the United States, that is still a derogatory term. But in other countries I lived in, those women weren't shamed. They were respected. It was like an opportunity. It was like they were well-paid models or bottle girls, but they are also, have doing the sex stuff too. In this situation, you are going to have to change the laws. It's going to come down to women ultimately, because as it stands right now, if I'm just sending a woman money, that is a crime. If I want to have sex with her, that's a crime. So that's what she's saying. Because obviously, if you're a man, if you're dating somebody, it's because you want to have sex with her. You're not just dating women for fun. You just like to watch women eat food that you're paying for just to get a kick out of it. Like, that's not the case. We understand what dating is. And if that's the case, then everything is paying for it. If you pay for food, that's paying for it. If you get a haircut so you can look good when you go out, that's paying for it. If you got your car washed, if you bought some new clothes for this date, that's you paying for it. So in my opinion, you guys are both even. She has preparation costs. You have preparation costs. It's just that she thinks what she has between her legs is more valuable than what you have between yours, sir. Therefore, she wants to put a premium on it. And you know what? There's a sucker born every day. If there's a man who's willing to pay that premium, but you're rolling the dice, see, that's the thing. She's not telling you it's guaranteed going to go in your favor. You can still say something she doesn't like, and she's like, you know what? I'm taking your money, and you're not getting any nookie. You can basically get ripped off and robbed. And that's what I mean. This could be a problem. There was a case we just looked at in Texas where there was a woman, an escort, and she went to a man's house. The man gave her the money, and then she was like, you know what? I'm taking the money and I'm leaving. No refunds. And he killed her. He shot her to retrieve, because he was trying to retrieve his money back, because he felt like he was being robbed. And you know what? He was famously exonerated because technically she robbed him. My thing is, once money becomes involved, then expectations also become a thing. So this is a risky app, and it's a dangerous game you're playing if you're not just trying to go full-fledged prostitute. If you're not just saying, look, this is how much the nookie costs, I'm selling it. If you're trying to play games where you get money and then you scam, it doesn't work good all the time. It's not going to always go in your favor. It's just not. But I mean, it sounds like a creative idea. What are you going to do? Set up like a little escrow where you can send some money into the escrow and then it transfers to her. And then what if she burns you? What if she doesn't show up? I mean, think about it. Is she really going to respect a man who's such a fucking simp that he's sending money into an escrow for a woman that he's never even met in person, all just based off of her physical attributes? You think she's going to respect a man that's that shallow? No, it's just going to be, this is just another way for women to scam men. But you know what? Like I said, there's one born every day, right?
It's called courted. So when people ask, how did you meet? You can say, he courted me. So cute. The website already looks absolutely stunning. And the app itself, incredible. All of the features are so unique and nothing like you've ever seen on any dating app. Oh, and to everyone who said you can't do that, guess what? I just did. So we are going to launch this city by city. And if you want early access, click the link in my bio and sign up. Let's make dating fun again.
Yeah, this is going to be dangerous for people. Again, once money is involved, people start to expect things. And if you're not willing to meet those expectations, don't take nobody's money. There's going to be too many men pretending to be women, using catfish pictures, selling, putting up fake pictures, standing men up. It's not going to work. It's just because there's going to be too many people that abuse the system. And before you actually meet a real woman that the pot's going to go to her, she's going to show up. You're probably 3 or 4 grand of losses. It's not worth it. It's too much risk up front. It's not a guarantee. It's all based off of basically a woman's ability, her sexual attractiveness. So basically only the best looking women are going to even sometimes get people that send those deposits. But if you don't know her in person, how do you know she's going to show up? And if you sent her the money up front, that's the problem. That's the problem. So I don't know. I don't see this as being something that's realistic. But again, prostitution's already a thing just so that women like her, because she doesn't want to be courted by one guy. She wants 1,000 men to send her $300 for her, her fees. She's trying to make money. That's what a lot of these women want to do. They want to monetize their beauty. And so if they want to do that, if it's her body, her choice, truly, then they should be allowed to. Let me ask this question. Let me ask my co-host. Now, let me ask you a question, Arthur. In your opinion, why is prostitution legal in Europe, but it's not legal in the United States, even though people are selling sex in both places? Why? What is wrong with the United States? Why isn't it legal here?
Well, Arthur would say it's all about different cultural and legal foundations. In parts of Europe, legalization often comes with regulation, protecting workers and ensuring safety. The US has historically framed prostitution under moral or criminal lenses. In short, the US tends to legislate based on social norms, whereas some European countries focus on harm reduction. In other words, it's less about selling sex and more about the historical approach to law and morality.
It's crazy in a country like the United States where we've lost all morality for the most part, for there to be some laws that are based in an outdated morality that no longer applies to anything else. It just seems rather asinine, in my opinion. Would do you think that it could be eventually legalized in the United States if women protested, saying that they want to basically have it regulated so that they can be protected, but ultimately they want to, they want to join that profession legally without having to worry about going to jail? Have you seen any writings or any push for that to become legal or decriminalize prostitution in the U.S.?
There have been movements and writings advocating for decriminalization or legalization. Many sex worker advocacy groups, like the Sex Workers Outreach Project in the US, push for decriminalization. Some states have introduced bills to study the issue or even remove criminal penalties. However, legalization is complex due to federal versus state laws, public opinion, and entrenched moral views. Whether protests alone would shift policy is uncertain. It usually takes both advocacy and political will. In short, there's momentum in some circles, but the path is complicated.
I can understand that. Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you, Arthur. I just wanted to ask because, again, like I said, I've lived in Europe. I've lived in other countries. I see that it's regulated in a lot of places. I don't know why they won't just regulate it here. Why do they force everybody to go underground? It's still happening here. Instead of, they don't say they're selling sex, they're selling their time. The sex is pro bono. The sex is free, but their time is what you're selling. That's how they get around it here in the U.S. But for women like this lady, she seems like she seems rather ambitious, and she's trying to pop that thing, and it seems like she's going to be breaking some laws eventually, and there are going to be some lawsuits because men are going to get stolen from. They're going to get robbed. There's no intermediary that's going to make sure that the money only goes to you if you're going to show up. Like, how do they know? Women change their mind and change their plans or take other offers from other men. It happens every day. So you don't even know if you send her this money if she's going to even show up. And if she already likes you enough to show up, then you don't need to send her any money. The men that are going to have to send her money are the men that she doesn't like, the men that she doesn't necessarily want to sleep with. The guy she want to sleep with, she's going to do all that for the free 99 on the house. Okay. She going to bust and she going to do all that. And she might even pay him. But for the men that she doesn't necessarily want to sleep with, they're going to have to pay. And then if another guy comes along, she's going to ditch you. You think a woman's going to give you a refund? Let me ask you this. If you're a guy watching this, how many of you have ever loaned a woman money and she paid you back? I don't remember. I don't remember loaning a woman money and she's ever returned and tried to pay me back. I don't remember it. You know how they try to pay you back? With the same thing this woman's offering. Which, I'll be honest, fair exchange has never been a robbery. Something, fair exchange has never been a robbery. That's how it goes. But yeah, in my opinion, this just, it seems innovative, but in a country where it's illegal and there's a lot of people that steal and scam, it's just not it won't be able to work. It just won't. So, that's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts on this. Would you ever pay somebody their preparation costs so that they'll come meet with you so you guys can go on a date? Even if the sex is not guaranteed, would you still take that risk? I like to see if how many cavalier people are in here that are willing to take those kind of risks. I wouldn't take that gamble at all. That's like me riding in a car with a drunk driver who's wearing a blindfold. I won't take that ride. So let me know what you think about the topic. Like and subscribe, share the video. I'll be back on with another subject in about 10 minutes. And remember, America first, America only.
I've been needing to find a new apartment, which has not been easy with credit as bad as mine. Luckily, I found cosigning.com. They connected me with a cosigner who helped me get my dream apartment for me and my dog. I just paid a small fee and was able to move in fast. Get the cosigner you need for the apartment you want. Check out cosigning.com today.